The man cuts off a lock of white hair, then strikes stones together to create sparks and ignite a fire, using dry twigs to light a nearby candle. With the light, the man crouches down and crawls into a tunnel, then immediately starts digging with his tools. But after digging for only a short while, the man is stunned by what he sees before him. In disbelief, he reaches out to touch a plant root. After an entire year, his efforts have finally paid off, and he almost thinks he's dreaming. The man immediately calls his companions over to check it out together. It's only when Clark confirms the truth of what they've found that he finally sees hope for escape. If this is a plant root, then it means they're not far from the surface. So, in order to escape faster, the man immediately tells his companions to fetch some handy tools and dig together. However, just as Clark turns around to crawl back, the soil above the tunnel suddenly starts to fall, and the man who is breaking through the ground also notices this unexpected situation. The next second, the man who made it back in time was buried underneath just like that. Seeing this, Clark, ignoring the risk of a second collapse, quickly turned around and went back. When he pulled the man out from the rubble, he found that the man was already on the verge of death. There was no time to think. Clark used all his strength to carry him back into the cell. However, the man's lungs had already been punctured, and he probably wouldn't live much longer. But before he died, he revealed a big secret he had kept in his heart. Before going to prison, the man had hidden a stash of treasure in a certain mountain. By its market value, an ordinary person couldn't spend it all even in 10 lifetimes. After revealing the location, he took his last breath. But just then, Clark suddenly heard footsteps outside the door. Realizing someone was coming to check the room, he immediately hid in a blind spot. The prison guard looked through the peephole and saw the man lying on the ground. Sensing something was wrong, he turned around to call for backup. At this moment, Clark took advantage of the time gap to cover the tunnel floor, then returned to his own cell from the other side. Just then, a group of prison guards burst in. Seeing the corpse on the ground, they were unfazed, as if they had already grown accustomed to such scenes. Two of them skillfully placed the man into a body bag, then left to report the situation to the warden. Taking advantage of their absence, Clark crawled out of the tunnel once again. He originally intended to say a proper farewell to the man one last time, but the moment he saw the body bag, he thought of a way to escape from the prison effortlessly. Before long, the prison guards arrived at the cell with the warden. Seeing that there was nothing unusual, the two of them carried the body toward the cliff, preparing to throw it into the sea to make it disappear without a trace.
However, at that moment, something unexpected happened. One of the prison guards sensed that something was wrong. When he opened Clark's cell, he saw the man who had just died lying on the ground.
Realizing what had happened, he immediately ran out, trying to stop the warden from disposing of the body, but it was already too late. The group was just about to throw Clark into the sea. Even though the prison guard had already run outside at this critical moment, he was too far away, and no matter how loudly he shouted, his voice couldn't reach them. At the moment he was thrown down, Clark decisively grabbed the warden's keys at his waist. With a powerful tug, the warden was also pulled into the sea along with him. Having prepared himself, Clark remained completely calm. Following the steps he had planned in his mind, he first tore open the rope on the body bag, then quickly used the keys he had snatched to unlock the chains bound to his legs. Fortunately, at the very last moment, relying on his own determination, he finally surfaced from the sea. But just then, Clark saw the warden struggling and, recalling all the undeserved suffering he had endured,